Hello everyone, it's Ethan McKinley, it's the 2-Minute Terminator. Welcome to episode 14! Yeah!
Ethan's favourite sexual age.
Yes, we are in fact back. It's episode 14. It's the 2-Minute Terminator, where we break down the Terminator films 2 minutes at a time. We are going from minutes 28 to 30, I think, although I do think it's 26 to 28, so we'll get back to that after these messages. Hit the music.
Howdy, stranger.
Don't say howdy, stranger, to me.
You didn't do the fourth.
Thank God. It sucked. Yeah, it sucked.
Synchronised oinking again. We've got it back.
Synchronized oinking again.
Hi, my name's Ellie as well, by the way. I also am the co-host.
She is also involved at some level. We don't know what level, but she is. Yeah, we're going from minutes 26 to 28. Basically, the bookends of the scene.
Stop basically.
The bookends of the scene are the three of them lying down on the floor. The little black girl, who's the pastiche character from RoboCop 3, the computer hacker, although she's not in this film and not the same actress. Carl Reese telling him like it is, and Sam Worthington hearing like it is. And it ends with a reflective Sam Worthington by the firelight looking to the right. So
Wondering,
Ellie,
do I want to eat 2-day-old coyote?
well, the main bridge of this scene is the Hydrobot scene, isn't it? And we'll get to that.
It is,
but they're experimenting in a very similar scene, as I said before, to the one where they've got like a little piece of Scorponok that breaks off in Transformers. Same thing. Well, who cares? The same. They're examining like this snaky robot thing, and it's almost an identical scene from Transformers. Ellie,
I'll have to
thoughts?
just believe you on that because I haven't seen it. But yeah, we like you said, we get the conversation between Kyle and Marcus. Kyle turns to Marcus and blames him and says, "Thanks to you, they know that you're here." I thought, well, hardly. The T-600 also found Marcus and started firing. So I don't see why it's solely Marcus's fault that
they found each other in a nuclear wasteland. Forbidden love between man and machine.
One man, one machine, one motive.
One man who thought he was a man, but he was a machine. But can a human heart get through the metal, through the circuits, and find another?
Anyway, so
I thought it was funny.
it's now we find out that that is officially Kyle Reese. Although I found it quite funny that Kyle never actually asks Marcus what his name is. Well, that was a little bit rude. That building that collapsed, I thought it was the building that they were actually on top of, but it can't have been because the
No,
building
it's not.
is
I just
still
said that in the last
stationary.
episode. Why did one building fall down? Because it doesn't look like the HK kind of knocks it or scrapes it. It doesn't blow up as such. It's obviously like responding to the signal that the term T-600 spotting Marcus like puts out there. But it just does this like one pass down the street. It doesn't like go, oh, maybe these people are on top of buildings.
But this is another thing. Like
Uh-oh.
the HKs are pretty advanced. They're called hunter killers. They definitely would have killed all three of them in a heartbeat.
Yeah, or just destroyed all the buildings on that street just to make sure.
Just a
Nuke the
big,
site
massive
from orbit, to
explosion.
quote James Cameron's Aliens.
Boom, all gone.
Anyway, when they're lying down, Ellie, do you
Frost
notice
on the
anything
first
about
yank.
the scene at the start of this 2 minutes, minutes 26 to 28? Do you notice anything about the scene?
In regards to
Carl Reese's shoes. He's wearing very similar sneakers to the Nike Vandals that Michael Biehn wears in the first Terminator.
I'd actually really like a pair of those. They're really cool.
He's got, I think you can find them, but I think they're called something else. There's a very similar pair you can get now. They're not Nike Vandals, but they've got the kind of like reflective strip that goes across the cuff on the top of the shoe.
You do love a cuff, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
Ethan and his plastic shoes.
But yeah, he's got very similar sneakers to the Nike Vandals he wears in...
Something that I did notice in the previous episode, actually, which I forgot to mention, and I actually got a really good screen grab, the boots that the T-600 are wearing, I'm pretty sure are Dr. Martens.
No, I don't think they are. They look like these weird custom blocker boot things with like a steel toe cap. They'd have to be something else other than Doc Martens because it's the bigger thing, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe.
It begs the question, really, why is he wearing shoes?
Dr. Martens.
It begs the question: why is he actually wearing shoes? Because if you just put that like pointy, horrible Terminator foot in a shoe, it wouldn't last very long because there's no kind of flesh to cushion its bones against tearing the, I guess, the rubber and the leather apart. No.
Maybe, but then it would beg the question as to why Terminators wear clothes in the first place, and that is to kind of blend in and be camouflage. So I guess if he was just walking around with clothes on and then just metal feet sticking out.
Well, according to this, there's allegedly loads of homage shots that McGee has done to nod to Cameron, showing people's feet or focusing on the feet in certain shots.
Oh, because he's got a fetish, isn't he?
No,
that's
Tarantino. Tarantino's got the foot fetish.
That's Tarantino, yeah.
Cameron just likes very strong female characters, which also annoys me when women are complaining about they get short shrift in cinema. But all James Cameron films, the women are all very kind of stoically strong, badass characters.
And they don't rely on the normal stereotype of just being a sexy or an attractive woman with massive breasts.
Yes, because unfortunately in all Cameron's films there aren't any... Those same women aren't sexy or attractive. Sorry, Linda.
But I think,
Sorry,
don't get me wrong,
Bonnie.
I like seeing attractive people. But
The
it's
closest one that
I've
would
had a
get
bit
a
of
maybe,
break.
the closest maybe for me in any Cameron film is the chick out of The Abyss.
Nah, see,
She's
what?
she's
For real?
Well, she's the only one really is like passably hot and still feminine.
Is she feminine though?
Ripley's a bit weird and asexual and tall and weird, well, she is. And Sigourney Weaver's like that. She's very attractive. She's not ugly at all. She's very tall, but there's just something missing that makes you go, she's hot. I don't know. And Linda Hamilton, there's a couple of scenes in Terminator 1 where she's kind of cute, but apart from that, she's not my cup of tea either. I might have to go for Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio, the lady from The Abyss. The one from Scarface is like, oh, fuck me, Tony. Oh, fuck me. You want to fuck me? And then she's shooting at Al Pacino. He's going, hey, like that.
That sounds like Kung Fu Hustle.
I gotta tell you, my
Anyway.
sister tried to kill me today.
So yeah, I just thought the HK would definitely have sensed that they were there, and they would have
Of course it would.
cinders by now. So I think that's a bit of a cock up. That's my own cock up. Bing. Now let's move on to the Hydrobot. I don't like it.
I don't like it either. It's not a good design.
Just 3 men who don't look that burly could restrain that thing, which then makes me think, why did they put the straps on afterwards? Why not strap it down straight away?
And then activate it. Exactly.
And then activate it. That would
Captain
seem
Morgan's
a
men
lot.
could restrain it.
Arr, Captain says it's okay.
The captain says it's okay. I need 12 stout men and true to wrestle a Hydrobot. Have another.
Have another. It's quite the booty you've got there on that table.
Quite the crappy bounty you've got there in that ring box. I wouldn't bury that thing in a cat box.
You do that very well. Yeah, so I thought that was a bit ridiculous. The way it's struggling around in distress, it seems like an animal, but it's not. So I don't know why they've
Well, it is, isn't it? And that's the way the Terminators seem like a man. But like you said, you're absolutely right. Why they wouldn't have this thing completely restrained? Because they're not proving anything by holding it down. It could still struggle under restraints. Why you'd risk that thing flying off the table and just jumping into people's faces, I have no idea.
It could have jumped into Bullshit Bale's face, though. I reckon that would have made a great movie.
Well, it looks at him. The Terminator vision, although interesting, is
yeah, we do finally get to see some
alternative
some
Terminator
vision,
vision.
don't we?
Alterno vision, yeah.
Ultimo vision, because it's like Terminator.
By the way, everyone, if you can hear any music in the background, the bumping music for today's show is the soundtrack to X-Men 3, which I'm going to get shot for saying this, but it's actually weirdly one of the better X-Men films now.
No, I completely agree too. The others were terrible.
X-Men 1, you've not seen them, Ellie?
Yeah, I have.
X-Men 1 isn't that good. Sorry, but it's true. It's low budget. It's weird. It's just not very X-Men. 2 was a high
actually,
point.
No, I haven't. No, I haven't, because I'm thinking
The
of
Wolverine is
films.
okay. The first Wolverine Origins movie is terrible. First Class is the best one, but it's not made
So
by
is that
Bryan
not
Singer.
an X-Men film then?
It is, but it's not made by Bryan Singer. It's made by Matthew Vaughn, who was Guy Ritchie's producer on The Lock, Stock and Snatch and stuff.
Because I saw both of the Wolverine films, and the first one was fucking terrible. I just don't get Hugh Jackman at all. Why they decided to cast him in those films, I don't know.
Well,
He's like
they didn't.
He's
All
the
right.
softest fucking cabbage ever.
Here's some trivia schmivia from a different franchise for you. Grace Scott was cast as Wolverine. If anyone wants to know who Dougray Scott is, he was in Twin Town, and he's also in Mission Impossible 2. He's Tom Cruise's nemesis, motorbike riding nemesis in Mission Impossible 2. He was cast as Wolverine because Mission Impossible 2 overran for the shooting for months. They had to recast the role of Wolverine, and the Faye, secretly gay, my wife's a beard, Hugh Jackman was cast as Wolverine. It's not that bad. I just think he's either got the character wrong or he's been directed badly. His commitment to the role, you can't deny it. Out of all the people that have played a superhero, he's got better with each successive film, but I think he should have been good from the jump. I mean, people can't imagine anyone else playing Wolverine now. He's associated with it, I guess, the way Christopher Reeve is associated with Superman. But Christopher Reeve, I think, did Superman better than the way Hugh Jackman does Wolverine. He just tends to cry all the time. He looks the part and he works out and stuff.
But he always skips leg day.
Yeah, I just think his portrayal is like wishy-washy and there's no through line for the character and he's just different in every film and he just cries all the fucking time and Wolverine just doesn't do that.
Yeah, it's not very good.
He's meant to be a hard bastard.
Bloody hard bastard. So, yep, we see him struggling with the Hydrobot. You've covered the fact that we get to see the Hydrobot vision. I liked that they've included that. I guess it's kind of similar to the T-800s in that even though it's kind of black and white, there's some red in there. So I thought, yeah, that looked kind of cool.
Yeah.
What else did I get? Oh, so they've managed to restrain the Hydrobot. They're holding it down. Enter the female Miles Dyson. She then
she's black, isn't she?
Yeah,
the techno chick. Yeah.
Exactly. So that's 2 black chicks we've got now. And one of them looks massively like Trevor McDonald. But basically, fuck you, McKinley. She turns up the signal, the frequency signal, which then knocks out the Hydrobot. But before she actually turns the dial up, she sticks a USB into the computer. As fucking if.
Why?
Who uses USB?
Me.
Yeah, but you're like 1,000 years old.
No, remember the world ended in 2003. This is 15 years later. Technology hasn't advanced. Yeah?
I think that's bullshit, but carry on.
No, it's not.
I just don't think that they would use a fucking USB. I was so shocked to see a USB.
Why? People use USBs now. The hard drive I use has got a USB connector on it. There are 2 USB ports.
But not like... I haven't seen one of those little USB things in forever.
Oh, that particular one?
I'm only 26.
I know, Ellie, but it is... You have to imagine this technology finished, for the humans at least, in about 2003.
Dude, they've just developed a frequency, a signal frequency that can knock out Terminators.
But that's different. That's Ellie. That's different. That's military grade hardware. Like.
But that's what they've done. They've put this USB in. This is the equipment that they've adapted, that they've created.
It doesn't matter. USBs are still used even now. You just let it go, dude. Take your ego out of the equation.
Why can't I not like the USB?
It's okay you're not liking it, but it's people use USBs even to this day. Firewire's not that much of an adopted thing. There's only like I think 1 port on my Mac that's Firewire.
I'll tell you what, I'll come back to this. I'll revisit it when it's 2018 and we're not using USBs anymore.
Well, anyway, speaking of the frequency machine you refer to, when John and the other Resistance members, this is a cock up by the way.
Cock up. Bing.
When John and the other Resistance members are testing the shortwave radio code on the captured Hydrobot, he asks the technician, the black lady, to turn it up. Mm-hmm. She turns the dial marked Coarse. No, it says Coarse. That's the writing over the dial. Now that indicates that she is adjusting a frequency such as produced by a signal generator rather than increasing the power or strength of a signal, which would be labelled as such. I have no idea what that means. However,
no, I kind of know what that means.
However, it appears that the Resistance fighters have to make do, like I said earlier, with stuff they have repaired or begged, borrowed or stolen from.
All right.
That is available and retrofit it. So they have to retrofit things together. Hence the USB and the this frequency machine from other surrounding machines and other parts. So in your face, the only thing they got wrong is this weird Coarse dial, which Ellie understands and I don't. Cock up number 2.
Cock up. Bing, bing.
Kyle states that traveling at night will be difficult because the hunter-killers have IR sensors. Now, why this IR sensor wouldn't work in the daytime in the previous episode that we just have, I have no idea. Plot hole.
That's infrared, by the way, anyone that doesn't know what IR
I was going to say IR means infrared and will detect body heat. And it also works in the day. Thank you very much. Yet Blair starts a fairly large fire. This is later in the film. We get to her. Blair is the Moon Bloodgood character that Ellie has a problem with, apart from Christian Bale, because of her longing looks when she's in the middle of a nuclear wasteland, when she's trying to pull a robot man. But who hasn't tried to do that?
You agreed with me.
I do agree with you. It's a silly scene. The Blair character starts a fire later on in the film, and a fairly large one. At night, without any concern, in the open desert.
Just gets her chebs out.
However, there are two characters with two different levels of experience with Skynet, and it's the Terminators. Also, fire does not necessarily mean a human is present or near.
Exactly.
To even mass body heat, basically.
So they send this signal frequency through this Hydrobot. How was that actually done? How is this Hydrobot being affected by this thing? Because it doesn't actually look like it's connected to anything.
Well, no, I know, but I think they take the information out of the Hydrobot. They find a frequency that it operates on. They take that information onto a USB. They plug it into their frequency machine, and then they match the frequency.
It's not very obvious from the scene, though.
Well, no, but they use this basically later on in the film when the Terry Crews brother character, played by the rapper Common, and Christian Bale, they bring down an HK. Or they bring it near, they mess with its kind of like navigation system with the frequency by matching it, and then Christian Bale shoots it down.
Oh.
So that's what they're trying to do. They're basically trying to shut down all the surrounding Terminators in the area, be they on the ground, in the water, in the air, everywhere.
Right, this follows on nicely to my next point. Where is all this water?
Well, Christian Bale...
It's all been desert
Bale.
land.
No, I know, but there are oceans and rivers and things. I agree with you, Ellie, but there is a river later on in this film. Spoilers.
But if
and there's a giant sea that Christian Bale jumps into, as noted by James Spalln of the listener's letter, and that we saw at the start of the film. There's a giant ocean, so there is sea and ocean and stuff. I don't think that would be obliterated by a nuclear war.
No, but what I mean is there enough water for Skynet to justify making a load of Hydrobots? I mean, how often would these people have actually gone into the water? I know their underground base is on that submarine. But I don't know, I just find it weird that they would develop a Hydrobot. Why they'd have a Terminator
It's another outlet of humans to communicate and travel and do things, isn't it? So, of course, it would be patrolling land, sea and air. That's just a tactical advantage, isn't it?
So is that more of like a surveillance type robot as opposed to
it kills
an
people.
aggressive or an attacking?
You see it, again, spoilers, you see them in action later on in the film. They leap at people's faces and just, drill into your brain. I would assume they have some kind of...
And with the Hydrobot, I don't think it looked that great, the actual design of it.
No, it doesn't. I don't know why. It just looks a bit boring, doesn't it, and flat. It just lacks menace. It's just like a big...
And it's actually very small.
Yeah. I mean, well, the size isn't the problem. It's just it looks a bit ugly. It's like a dick.
Fucking hell, Ethan. It does make me worry about the dicks you've seen in your lifetime. Trevor McDonald then lets us know that they've shut down its kind of like sensor. Basically, it can't communicate. She says it can't talk with any of its pals now. How do the Terminators communicate with one another? Is it like they're all part of like one grid? Because I was like, it kind of made it sound a little bit like the Borg, but with the Borg, obviously they're very different because they were aliens that were assimilated into the collective, so they're kind of like.
I can only imagine they transmit not telepathically, but they just transmit between themselves. They just get signals from
upload
Skynet.
Information that they gather to some kind of like big.
The same way you get like updates for your Mac, like Mac.
Okay. Because I was wondering that. I was like, well, it can't be telepathy because that would suggest a human brain. That's my note for the Enter the Female Miles Dyson. Oh, yeah, I wanted to know what you thought of the Hydrobot vision. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Talk to me.
I didn't like it.
Why?
It's too much of a departure, sadly, I think, from the regular Terminator vision. I know they've tried to do, again, it's just the whole film's problem is trying to do something different, and it's like the Alien creature design. Like I said, in Alien 1, it's great. In Alien 2, they adapted it just because they needed movement and things, but it still looks amazing. In 3, they started to try and do their own thing, and then it got away from what it actually was, this kind of like creepy Lovecraftian machine insect creature, to this just like lizard thing with like a shiny head. And I think because filmmakers try and put their stink on something that's already perfect, like they've done with Terminator, they've tried to redesign the Terminator, they've done the Hydrobot, they've done this, they've done that, they've made the HKs dirty looking and a crap design, they've made the world only look like daytime
Looks like
based.
a dirty protest.
Yeah, it's people not as talented as someone who was clearly a genius and made 2 genius films, and then people trying to do their version of it, but try and their ego and hubris to kind of create something their way and not really pulling it off, and it's just more a case of that, I think.
I see. So Ethan is not a big fan of the Hydrobot vision. And the last point that I wanted to bring to your attention. So we then leave the dissection room, or the kind of research lab, after John Connor then orders them to terminate the machine. Very heartless. And we then go back into kind of like the barren lands. We're back with Marcus, Kyle, and the little girl. And Marcus asks what Kyle's about to eat, and he goes, 2-day-old coyote. It's better than 3-day-old coyote. How the fuck would a coyote survived in that terrain? As if they were animals, no?
Yeah, there'd be animals.
Really?
I think that you're more likely
So how
to...
the fuck did animals survive this fucking Judgment Day?
Well, the same way animals survived when, I guess, allegedly that meteorite hit the Earth and destroyed the dinosaurs. Mammals kind of grew out of that, didn't they? Because they were like tiny
Yeah, they
little...
grew out of it. They didn't survive it. The dinosaurs died.
No, something would have to survive to evolve into
Plants
something else.
did. Yeah, plants
And
did.
if you go by the Jurassic Park theory, the dinosaurs didn't die.
Which I don't.
A lot of the large scale animals were killed, of course, yes, because there was no... Ellie, you're not even listening. I said a lot of the large scale animals were killed because there was no kind of environment to support that. There would be no sun because it'd be nuclear winter, there'd be no plants. But a lot of species did survive, smaller ones. That's why mammals obviously grew, then turned into apes, and then here we are, I guess, if you're not a creationist. By the same token, and if you listen to Sam Neill, Dr. Alan Grant in Jurassic Park 1, the dinosaurs all kind of like turned into birds gradually.
I'm not convinced that coyotes would be running around willy-nilly.
No, but coyotes are
Sorry,
like very
but I'm just
hardy, kind of almost vermin-y type animals, the same way you get rats and things. Like, there'll always be those kind of creatures because they're willing to eat anything. They're survivors. I think,
Yeah,
of
but-
course, you'd have things like coyotes and things, and you'd
Yeah,
have
but
rats for
coyotes are
sure.
quite big.
You'd have... They're not. They're tiny. They're as big as cats, some coyotes.
I thought coyotes were bigger than that.
No. Coyotes are they're like foxes. They're like tiny little things. Occasionally you can get a big one, but for the most part, they're generally small.
Maybe I'm thinking of jackals. I don't know. But yeah, I just thought that was a bit ridiculous. And that's my 2 cents.
Well, we'll wrap it up. This was Wednesday's episode. Thank you all for listening, everyone. We shall return with Thursday tomorrow, which will be episode 15, which is minutes 28 to 30. And we'll be back again on Friday. And then over the weekend, we'll be here to do it all over again. So I force Ellie at gunpoint to record most of the week on a Sunday, as we're doing now. And that gives me time to do other things with my life and work.
Yay!
Weirdly, actually, you know what, Ellie? I was here till like 4 or 5 in the morning, like making sure this show went up. It took
Thanks
so
for
long
sharing
to
that with
render.
Stephen.
It was a pain in the ass. Anyway, listeners, please find us on Facebook. I dumped another, 70 or so amazing pictures from the Terminator franchise and all films and TV shows connected to that in our super rare photo gallery of awesome stuff. If you follow us on Twitter, you can get updates on various shows and things like that. And if you go to the YouTube channel, the newfangled YouTube channel, you can see the 2 minutes we talk about as we talk over them on repeat for however long the episode is. So please join us there. Please follow us. Please like the page. And we shall return at the next episode. Take the floor, Ellie.
Hasta la vista,
You're a man of few words. You're like a Terminator.
baby.
Hasta la vista, baby. Take care. Bye.
Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Shut up if you can't take a joke.
You are trashing my scene.
Shut the fuck up, would you? Shut the fuck up. Shut up if you can't take a joke.
See, man, you and me, we're fucking done professionally. Fucking ass.